Alright, now it's playing. That's good to know. I thought it was playing last time. I thought I hit the record button, but whatever. This is Bronson's by any means necessary fantasy football talk for Friday, November 26th. We're going to get to my wide receiver Spikes, wide receiver and running back Spikes and Yikes. Man, it's harder than it looks, folks. Don't try that at home. I tried to go a little deeper this week. I tried to do 5 of each, so I got 5 Yikes, 5 Spikes at wide receiver, and 5 Yikes and 5 Spikes at running back. I wanted to be a little bit more in depth this week. And it was also kind of nice because I did that today instead of yesterday, because the rankings were kind of updated. All the players who've already played kind of taken off the list. So despite the skewed rankings, I'm still gonna try to do my best to give you my likes and dislikes. Today was a much better day than the rest of the week has been. I'm not nearly so tired, even though I had a hard time staying up finishing that football game last night, which is very, just, I don't know. There's just a mental block that tells me it's just too early to go to bed. 7:30, 8 o'clock. It's just like, if I can't even stay up and watch a football game on West Coast time, and I'm getting old or something. I don't know. But even though I think I slept 5 hours last night, I feel great. I feel better than I felt in the last 2 weeks. So that's good. I get to sleep in tomorrow, which is always nice. Sleeping in for me now, it's like 7 a.m. So that's cool. And not a whole lot, nothing super eventful happened today. I did apologize to a woman today, which I don't like to apologize much because I don't like to admit that I'm wrong. But I was, when I am wrong, I will apologize and stuff. So I'm just a naturally apologetic person, really. All the time, I'm always saying sorry, excuse me, or I'm sorry for being in someone's way. The little things like that. But when it comes to like a real apology, it's very hard for me to present that level of vulnerability. I have a problem saying that word, vulnerability. I can't. It's hard. And I'm not trying to make this a laughing matter. Like, I seriously have problems saying that word. It's a tough word for me to get out, to articulate. So, no problem showing vulnerability when it comes to like how I'm feeling and stuff like that. It's just apologizing to somebody and meaning it. It's hard for me, so I need to continue to work on that aspect. That could be something that is keeping me lonely, I guess. But I see, it's another thing when I'm in a relationship or something with somebody. I apologize to them because that's the person that I care about. It's the person that cares about me. It's the person that has invested in me. A person that I value their opinion of me and respect what they have to say or what they think or what they feel about me. So it's like, yes, I will apologize to that person, but like, a random coworker who I, inadvertently made upset or angry, it's like, in that instance, it's hard for me to apologize, but I did. So, I'm evolving. I'm not such a Neanderthal after all. All right, so get to the football stuff that you tuned in for. My yikes at the wide receiver position this week, 5 for week 12. Starting with number 11, DK Metcalf against the Washington football team, which I made a mistake in my last video when I said that they played on Sunday morning. They do not. This is the Monday night game. Seahawks at Washington football team on Monday night, which is a game that I am no longer interested in watching. Honestly, I'm not going to watch. I don't like to watch the Seahawks. They bore me, and the Washington football teams is not very good. So that Monday night game this week, not interested to me. But DK Metcalf really struggling the last couple of weeks since Russell Wilson's come back, and he's also dealing with a little injury now. He's questionable for the game. I assume that he'll play, but him dealing with an injury and struggling makes me drive him down my list a little bit outside the top 15. Brandon Cooks at 18 versus the Jets. I don't like anything about this Texans offense right now. I downgraded Tyrod Taylor a lot. In the quarterback rankings, I'm downgrading Brandon Cooks outside the top 20 this week, even though the Jets defense is terrible. Brandon Cooks is going to see a lot of targets, but he really he's been a little inconsistent this season. I think he's still a flex option for the week, but I'm not relying on him as a wide receiver 2. Next, Mike Williams at 19 against the Broncos. Again, another very inconsistent player who has some really big weeks and then has some really bad weeks. He's a little risky to trust against a decent Broncos defense, decent Broncos secondary. Keenan Allen's reemergence as the alpha in that passing game over the last 4 or 5 weeks also makes me not trust Mike Williams. Still a flex play for me, just as Brandon Cooks is, but I got Mike Williams outside my top 20 as well. Next, Brandon Ayuk, 21 versus the Vikings. I do think Brandon Ayuk will have a good game. I do have Brandon Ayuk as a flex play as well. I'm actually starting Brandon Ayuk. I have a massive wide receiver problem in one of my leagues this week. I'm starting Brandon Ayuk and another guy who I'll talk about later. And I'm hoping that at least one of them can provide me something good. I like Ayuk as a very high reward player right now, especially against some Vikings. I could see that game. I anticipate that game being a shootout between the 49ers and Vikings, and Ayuk should be productive, but he's not a guy that we can trust yet to be a top 20 play. And I guess 21 actually isn't that bad, especially given the scope of with all the players who have already played, who put up wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 numbers. Maybe I'm being a little harsh on Ayuk this week, but I would have him a little lower on my list probably. And lastly, Jerry Jeudy at 23 against the Chargers. The Chargers secondary has been very stingy. They're not really giving up. They're not really letting wide receivers get in the end zone at all this year. And the Denver passing game is so convoluted with so many options. Like, they have really good weapons, but they don't have the best quarterback. I like Teddy Bridgewater. Always going to be a Teddy Bridgewater fan, but let's face it, he's not the best. He's not the best quarterback. And so, like, with the 2 tight ends in Denver kind of taking a large volume of the passes, and then Cortland Sutton just getting big money, Jerry Jeudy being healthy now, it's too hard to trust all of those guys week to week. And given the low volume of the passing game already, and given the Chargers' stingy defense, I don't know if I would start any Denver pass catcher at all this week, to be honest with you, perfectly honest with you. Now moving on to the guys that I like, guys outside the top 25, the Spikes, guys who can put up wide receiver 2 or flex-worthy numbers. Starting with Devontae Smith at 26 of the Eagles at the Giants. Devontae Smith and Jalen Hurts have finally, over the last few weeks, started to really get a good connection. Something that I think a lot of us were kind of hoping him and Dallas Goedert would establish, but Devontae Smith seems to be the guy now. I like Devontae Smith to put up top 20 numbers against the Giants this week. 29, Odell Beckham with the Rams against the Packers in what should be a shootout. Odell Beckham is that guy that I'm having to start this week because A.J. Brown is out. And who else? I got some other options are like Tyler Boyd, who I don't like at all. And I don't know who else. Kadarius Toney, who's now doubtful. Like, I got injury problems, I got bye week problems. I don't remember who I have on bye, but I'm starting Ayuk and Beckham, so I'm really hoping for a decent game from Odell Beckham. We know that Odell Beckham has the talent. We know that he's got the quarterback, he's got the coach, he's got the offense, he's got the matchup. Everything is aligned for Odell Beckham to have a good day on Sunday. So, I'm trying to manifest some positivity, some positive thinking, putting some positive thinking out there because positive thinking leads to positive things. Odell Beckham should be at least a flex play this week. 29, I know 29 is in the flex territory, but I've got him more as a high-end flex. Marvin Jones, 33, Jaguars versus Falcons. I think Marvin Jones is too talented to be this bad. I think Trevor Lawrence is too talented to be this bad. The Falcons are a perfect matchup for the Jaguars offense to get back on track, for the passing game to get back on track, and for Marvin Jones to get back on track. I think he's going to do it. I've got Marvin Jones as a top 25 play. Robbie Anderson of the Panthers, 39. Way down to 39 against the Dolphins. Again, I think Robbie Anderson is too talented to be this bad. Having Cam Newton back out there should help Robbie Anderson reconvene to the mean that he's established over the course of his career. The Dolphins are a good matchup. Bad secondary, talented secondary, but for whatever reason, bad secondary fantasy wise. I like Robbie Anderson as a flex play this week as well. And lastly, 5, Nick Westbrook. I don't know how to say his third name. Ikini something of the Titans, 48 at the Patriots. No A.J. Brown means that this Westbrook guy, who I've never heard of until last week, should be the primary target for Ryan Tannehill in a game in which Tennessee might have to throw a little more than they want to. And there's not enough film out there on this guy for Bill Belichick to be like, okay, we need to shut this guy down. Here's what we're going to do. I think Bill Belichick is going to focus more on flustering Tannehill or stopping the run. So this guy, this Nick Westbrook Ikini, or however you say his name, I really like him a lot this week. Actually, I've got him as a top 20 play, so way higher than 48 than where ESPN has him. All right, we're at 13 minutes 10 seconds. I haven't even started the running backs. Let's see if I can do this quickly. I wish I could spend more time on running backs. That's kind of my primary focus. But all right, running backs that I'm yiking this week. Joe Mixon, number 6 versus Steelers. As I said in my quarterback preview, I'm not liking the Bengals offense much this week against the Steelers. I think the Steelers defense is going to show up. So Joe Mixon, not a top 10 play for me, a risky top 10 play. Won't be surprised if I'm wrong and he does have a good day, but just trusting my hunch and saying that Joe Mixon finishes outside the top 10 for the week. Number 2, Saquon Barkley, 10 versus the Eagles. It's time to admit that Saquon Barkley is not a running back 1 anymore. The injuries have derailed his promising career. The Giants' bad offense has derailed his promising career. Saquon Barkley is barely a running back 2 right now, and really he's just a running back 2 on reputation. He hasn't been a running back 2 by production for quite some time, and so having him at 10, even against a team like the Eagles, who are not very good, the defense, fantasy-wise, is pretty decent. We need to see a lot more from Saquon Barkley before we start considering him as a top 20 play. Again, let alone top 10. And again, Myles Gaskin, 15 versus the Panthers. Myles Gaskin keeps making the ESPN's top 20 list, and I keep downgrading him to outside the top 30. Not even a flex play for me. he got 23 carries last week, right? So that's a lot heavy workload. That's why he keeps getting top 20 ranking is workload. But with those 23 carries, he got 89 yards, no touchdowns. So he didn't do anything for you really. He's just, his volume is high, but it's so empty. He's just not productive at all. Myles Gaskin, again, maybe a flex play this week. Maybe top 25 against a good Panthers defense, but I wouldn't play him. I don't even own him, but if I owned him, I wouldn't play him. And I don't recommend you playing him either. Kareem Hunt, 20 versus the Ravens. Kareem Hunt is back from a lengthy absence, an injury. I don't trust him this week. I'm not playing him this week. I don't have him he's not even in flex consideration for me, let alone top 20. And David Johnson of the Texans down at 26. He's a little outside the range I'm usually talking about here. But again, I wanted to go a little deeper. David Johnson is pathetic. He's been pathetic for a couple of years. ESPN has him as a flex. I don't think that's a good call. I think you should bench him, or I think he should be on your waiver wire, honestly. Now for the running backs that I'm spiking. Let's start with a couple of Patriots. Damian Harris, Ramondre Stevenson, both ranked at 22 and 23, so back-to-back there against the Titans. I think this is going to be a favorable game script for the Patriots. They're going to run the ball down the Titans' throat to control the clock. Both of them definitely flex plays. One of them probably going to be a top 15 back for the week. That's just my opinion. So if you have them, you should probably play them and hope that the one that you have is the one that pops. Next, Rex Burkhead, the Texans, 29 versus Jets. If there's a running back to be even considered as a flex or this week for the Texans, Rex Burkhead is the safer bet, as he's more involved in the passing game and has been more productive running the ball than David Johnson or Philip Lindsay, who was recently released. And 32, Dontrell Hilliard of the Titans against the Patriots. Dontrell Hilliard really showed the Titans something last week, enough that they released Adrian Peterson to give Dontrell Hilliard more reps, and I think Dontrell Hilliard is the guy to trust as a pass catcher for the Titans, and in a game where I foresee a negative game script where they're gonna have to pass more than they want to. Dontrell Hilliard. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble with his name. I'm feeling a little flustered right now. I don't know why. Probably because I'm watching the clock, and I wanted to keep this under like 18, 19 minutes. That's not gonna happen. I'll be lucky if I keep it under 20. Dontrell Hilliard is the running back to trust this week for the Titans. I've got him as a flex play as well. Jeff Wilson, 34. The 49ers versus the Vikings. Again, Elijah Mitchell is questionable. He may play, he may not. If he plays, he's not going to be 100%. The 49ers like to split the work in the backfield. Jeff Wilson still, even if he gets like a 60-40 split or 50-50 split, still a flex play consideration this week in what I've already said is probably going to be a shootout. And lastly, DJ Dallas of the Seahawks, 40. Ranked at 40 against the Washington football team on Monday night. Alex Collins is questionable, and Alex Collins has been very underwhelming this season. And DJ Dallas was the guy, if you remember last year, way back to 2020. He was the guy that filled in pretty well for Chris Carson when Chris Carson went down last year. DJ Dallas could end up being the guy who does it again this year. He could end up being a guy who wins some leagues for some lucky fantasy owners, because really I thought DJ Dallas should have been the guy this whole time, not Alex Collins, but better late than never, right? So if you're looking for a running back in a pinch for the week because you lost Kamara, you lost Zach Moss, you lost, I don't know, you lost some flex plays, I don't know. DJ Dallas is probably one of the better options you can find out there. I would prefer him over any of the Texans guys or Miles Gaskin, so yeah. All right, we're at 20 minutes. I'm going to end it. My stomach's starting to growl. I'm a little hungry. I really wish that the Mongolian place that used to be here in Vancouver was still open, because that place was bomb, but alas, they closed. They closed actually before COVID. I thought they were moving somewhere else in town, like downtown or something, but apparently that did not happen. That's not the case. It just closed forever. Business was obviously not good, and which sucks, because it was a good place. One of my go-tos here in town. But I'll figure something out for dinner. So, all right. Thank you. Peace, love, and nacho fries.